Hello friends, time for my ultimate upgrade for my MN90 Anonymous clinic. So this has still got everything stock in it other than the ESC and receiver and servo, I suppose is the kit version. That's about to change. Anyhow, right, first up, metal drive shafts, titanium front and rear axles. I think these are 4-link traction links. I picked up this metal bumper. Came with like a metal skid plate, metal springs and dampers in one. I've modified these already, but it'll be shown in a later video on its own. And then the titanium or metal 4 links to go with those. Add-on springs for the metal suspension. Most importantly, it's got a 180 motor in there at the moment. I haven't tried one of these 370 2-speed boxes, but I'm going to stick it in this. These are my custom chassis parts for the MN90. Put a metal servo in for good measure. Take you along for a ride. I've set the 4 links to a right length. The top ones are 64mm and the lower ones are 58mm. Threadlock spotted. Threadlocked every other thread I needed to do. So the next step is the 370 box. Right, that's 52.44 give or take. That's within half a mil, so even with this attached I can feel half a mil of flex in there, so that's going to pinch up and the screws will hold that tight. I assume it goes in this way due to the screw here, and then it's got the singular second hole that aligns with that. This is meant for WPL. I don't know if anyone else tried putting in. I'm happy to give it a shot. Got to solder up a JST to fit to this. Moving on. Okay, that seems to be working right. So what I did was plug it into the third channel, made sure it worked without the horn on it. Set this to have the horn very, very close. Made sure it activated, saw how much play it was. So when it was back in this position, I'd move it another tooth closer until it got to the extremity. I don't think I can get it much closer than that, and that should be in gear. Should be quite a nice system. Okay, here's the shock towers mounted. This is the reason why I did the 3D printed one. You probably could have cut these tabs off to mount them, but there you go, there's the recess that the whole print was about. If you're from a 3D print, there's the jig that you set over the original suspension geometry on the frame, and it'll give you accurate markings for all except the rear extreme position. As you see, quite straightforward. Along lights drawn in. The front went together amazingly well. Really nice. Feels rock solid. The front end's done other than shifting the servo over and the steering arm. The back, however, is a different story. It is quite a profound difference. That's low range, high range, and that's only on a third throttle. Seems to work well. Oh well, tally-ho. Okay, I don't know where I got to with a previous video and so forth, so I'll start fresh. 2-speed boxes in. Couple of problems with that in its own right, but we'll get to that. As you can see, the 3D printed chassis mounts are absolutely perfect. It's lost its toy noise. So first things first, the front went together an absolute dream. The included hardware is all correct. Tie rods are on the inside of the frame and so forth. I did have to put some washers on the inside, otherwise it would clamp down and it would be wibbly wobbly. But this is completely alleviated all that. It's rock solid. The only play is in the ball link now. I've done my obligatory steering mod to bring the horn to the steering knuckle right up. It was too short anyway, so it had to be done. Works a treat. Now let's get to the rear. As you can imagine, this servo is right in the way of attaching these tie rods on the inside. There's no way that you can move this around anywhere to reposition the actuation of this gear linkage, especially from below. And this is still going to be air, so sadly I've had to do some stuff that I'm not really happy about, which is mount it on the outside. When you look at some of the pictures, you see they've got it mounted on the inside, but they've got custom bent tie rods. They don't sell them, but that's the only way they can get this to fit properly on the WPL. It may have fit the original plastic arms, but the whole point of doing that was to get rid of stuff like that on here. So what I've done is mounted them inverse, the washer on the outside instead of on the inside. That's rigid. It's got enough room just on this, once it's been adjusted, for full travel, works fine. So the outside on there, on the suspension and shock absorber one, it's in the correct place, normal. Try to get you an angle on here, but on the top forelink I've had to customise that with a long bolt, a spacer and another spacer to bring it outboard. It works. With that, it brought the geometry of the rear end out, like the input shaft for this bridge axle was pointing downwards, so all I did was extend the top ones out and it's pulled it back in and given the much needed space for this to be able to move its desired distance. It'll do for now. If it's not perfect, which it doesn't feel perfect, you know, I would have liked it factory like this. I think there's a 370 motor that fits to the normal transfer box, so I'm thinking maybe a 370 motor mounted up here with a input shaft to the transfer box, then fed back out to the bridge axles, will allow me to bring this back in as desired, but I'll lose the two-stage box. For now, this is what I've got. This is how it's going to be. Next up, mount the metal bumper on it, tidy up the electronics, stick the receiver back in it, mount the body, we're done. I've tested the electronics and everything. The two-stage box is awesome. Good speed at high end, good torque at low end. The suspension will need those other springs put in it, I think. I've dropped this from 18 inches. It just soaks it up like a basher. Absolutely brilliant. But I think for crawling, it might just be a little bit too rigid, but I'm going to try it. Okay, so it's all back together. It's all buttoned up. Got my metal bumper installed. Got all the wiring tucked away and installed. Had a little drive around. Yeah, it's cool. I'm liking the two-speed box so far. Proof of the pudding of being eating when it goes out ripping up some trails and stuff, I suppose. That is quite savage. Suspension will need tuning, maybe a little bit of a suspension geometry, but from what I can tell, from full decompression to full compression, that looks fine to me. As you can see, the track of the vehicle is perfect. Yeah, it weighs twice as much as it did, but saying that, it's not top heavy at all now, so that should bode really well. Awesome, really happy with this upgrade. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this one-of-a-kind upgrade. I haven't seen anyone else do it. I'm happy to do it. Any questions, always happy to answer them. Any requests, let me know in the comments. Any different styles of 3D parts, massive project, let me know. I'll be happy to oblige if I can. There's another 24 going to be added to the project soon, so keep an eye out for those if you're interested. Happy driving. Take care. Thanks for watching. Hillbilly! Hey!